time I come, man. There's just so much history in this place. It's really cool. I enjoy watching this every time I come down through here. Defy Dale, his whim.
I mean, we're at Daytona International Speedway. I mean, this is crazy, man. To be on track here at Daytona, you know, has been amazing. It is an experience of a lifetime. I'm thankful and blessed to have the opportunity to be here.
Daytona is like the top of the hill, the pinnacle of racing.
Daytona is the track of tracks.
You know, I was stoked. 10 years ago, me and Dad came in here for the first time, and we just obviously couldn't watch the race. I had to talk him into it. I begged him, and we did. And we, like I said, never been down here, and I ended up talking to people like I always try to do, and our good friend got us hooked up with some pit passes, and we ended up, I wanted to meet David Rubin. We got to meet David. That was really cool back then. And lo and behold, we talked to the Toyota people there at the Toyota tent, and we got to meet with Denny Hamlin, and we actually escorted him around his pace lap for the 500. And we went from just barely making it down here, and we slept. We slept in the back of my mom's Honda Pilot. I remember that. We slept in the back of the Honda Pilot while we were down here, just because we were just trying to make it. And be able to make it here 10 years later on track with my family in hopes to continue on with this. And this is just a stepping stone. There's so much that has went into this happening, kind of by luck, by chance, whatever you want to call it. Kind of hoping it's just fate.
Daytona is Daytona, and it has its own reputation and its own mystique and its own. It's in a class of its own in that regard.
That does go through my mind as far as like, wow, what an opportunity.
It was a lot of fun. It's like, you've done this a few times, and here you got this greenhorn coming out and his little group of guys, and they're all super guys, and you're going, boy, this is going to be great, just to see the look on their faces when they come through the tunnel and this thing jumps out like a damn ninja. All of a sudden, this thing is bigger than life.
I was just like, dang, this place is huge. I mean, it's cloudy on one side and sunny on the other. It's that big.
And the eyeballs as big as pizza pies, and Caleb wandering around like a zombie, didn't know what to do, and I just loved the heck out of it, and I'm so glad that I was a part of turning him on to this great adventure.
I look up and I just saw how tall the stands were. I mean, it was unreal to me. I mean, Charlotte, it ain't that tall. And just seeing how long pit lane is and seeing how fast them guys got to go from 190 mile an hour down to 45, so it's crazy to me. It was pretty cool. I wish it had some AC, but it was actually pretty cool being able to stand out in front and look at the start-finish line and see the box where all these great spotters have stood all over the years, and the announcers and everything, so it was actually really, really cool.
Sneak up on it, and I'll push you first so you get a feel for it. And then you got to make sure to let off enough to get through the bust off, but respect the speed. You're going to be going real fast. Watch your mirrors. watch when we start lapping these other cars, give them lots of room. Be really focused, especially the first time out.
So everything's Daytona, you know, we think 500, right? We think bump draft, and we think a pile of cars driving in a circle. That's not what we were doing this weekend. NASCAR itself and a bunch of other different racing associations, like your Le Mans series, everything like that has went to, you know, road course is huge. And that's where the road course racing has gotten huge. And I'm really, really wanting to advance my skills in that. And that's one of the reasons why we are out here. And that's the actual course layout that we were running this weekend. So you go across the start-finish line and you go into one. So you do not go into the banking, straight into the banking like NASCAR does into turn one, and you're running the oval track.
Well, let's talk through a lap. At the start-finish line, I'm trying to stay up as far to the wall as I can because I want to get a really late apex into turn one. So you hang that thing out wide, you keep it on the throttle as long as you can, and then you pivot the thing in the apex. You actually kind of pivot. You get a charge through that little kink. You got a wall to the left. You got a lot of room off to the right. Then you got a nice little straightaway into a sharp right-hander. I'll dive in a little early, try to set position on a car, whoever I happen to be racing with, and then get a good run off. We got the little short chute, another kink that sometimes you want to let off a little bit, but you really need to be full throttle through that kink. And then you got that right-hander, which is kind of a sweeper almost. So you got to get in with a late apex and get a good shot down that short chute. The hard left-hander, which the car will push if you're not careful, and then up onto the banking.
You know you're on it, and you're like, man, I'm gonna keep rolling here a little faster. And but no, it's definitely just when you go by it at full speed, and I see it coming up, and you're running up high, and you're just gonna hit that Daytona line right there where you see the Daytona across the wall, and you just go past it, you're like, dang, this is pretty awesome, man.
Now the fact that we don't have a lot of horsepower, I like to get up to the top of the banking, so when it comes on the backstretch, it's like coming downhill. That banking at Daytona is so high that you really want to get up, so you got downhill down the backstretch, zing down the backstretch, starting to see the markers going into the bus stop, and I love to sail that thing on into the bus stop as fast as I can. Make a right-hander, drop the two left tires onto the dirt a little bit, coming up back onto the speedway, and then try to look for some drafting help in front of you. Then you hit fourth gear, fifth gear, and then it's just sit and wait till you get the start-finish line again. And that's a lap around Daytona in the Thunder Roadster anyways. And you think about it, especially on asphalt, I put it in my driving school like this. When you go into the corner, you have $1 to work with. You can use it on brakes, you can use it on throttle, or you can use it on steering. If you go in and the car starts to push, you either need to ease off the brake, ease off the steering, to catch back up. Now I know you went into to a gigantic push-up there, you're trying to get more than $1 from the money you got to spend. So keep that in mind, especially on asphalt. You got brakes, you got steering, and you got throttle. I know you don't throw right up and down here. Is it pushing real bad under braking?
So, at what corner? What are we talking about?
The horseshoe right inside.
horseshoe.
Right inside. I looked at my mirror and I saw you.
At that point, no. So what happened is it's the first time I had dove in there, so I didn't know our braking zones. Yeah, and so
the tires were a little bit cold.
They were, and so I think I went in a little too hot.
All right. Well,
so I was like, oh,
you got to
yeah, exactly. And like when we came through here, when we dove in here through 1 and 2, I didn't want to gear down as much. I wanted to gear down one more.
When I kept going like this, I wanted you to push me.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to pass it. Push me. This is what this means. Go, man. Let's go. You know, actually, he did really well, considering he's not the most experienced driver. He's got some racing under his belt, but it's still somewhat limited. He's in the early stages of his development as a driver. Now, the fact that he had run that same car at a different road course race afforded him a fair bit of familiarity with the car, how it felt, what to expect when he went out there. But he picked it up pretty quick. He paid attention. We made a couple little changes in the line that he was taking in a couple turns, and man, it was all smiles, and we were done.
Yeah, I don't really even know where to start with Daryl, but with this weekend in mind, obviously it wouldn't be possible without him, and him giving me an opportunity to put me in his car and really gain that experience and trust me enough to bump draft me and do a lot of stuff that I had not experienced. And going through the bus stop, through at full speeds and through the course and learning my braking zones. He's been a huge help and mentor. He has given me a lot of knowledge that I didn't have prior to, and it's hands-on experience that I've gained, and I'm going to be able to apply now to other series moving forward. So I'm really, really thankful for the priceless knowledge and advice and mentoring, the time he just took to, because God knows he's raced more cars than I'll ever race. What I've seen is drafting is so key, and you have got to stay hooked up with these guys. But at the speed you're traveling, it is definitely intimidating at times. That's insane. Never thought I'd actually get to come down to Daytona, let alone get on track, and now that we're on track, win a race. I mean, that's wild.
We won, you know. We went out there, and this little Yamaha Thunder Roadster, it drove its heart out, and it didn't quit not once, and it went out there and won.
The fact that he was able to take home that trophy from Daytona, that was so great. And I'm so happy and proud that I was able to help him get that awesome memory of going to Daytona. Now, keep in mind that car he was driving, that thing has got a lot of laps on it. Although it's a hardy old car, it just loves to get out and go. And I was a little nervous that something would happen to the car, and then everybody would be disappointed. But on the flip side, the car ran great all weekend, and I was so dang happy and so excited, you know, that he was able to take some of that iron home. How's your face doing? It's killing me.
Well, me and Michaela were in there anyway. He got the dogs going, obviously. You know, when it's time to get up, it's time to get up.
He's raring to go. He wants to get there, and he wants to get it done. And I work second shift, so I don't wake up till usually 10, 11 o'clock, and then somebody's waking me up at 6 o'clock in the morning saying we got to go. And you know, being fairly proud and loud about it, I'm like, man, come on, I'm trying to relax a little bit right now.
Old people love to wake up young people. That's the way it is. Morning, Hot Rod. Morning. How you doing?
I'm good.
You all right?
Yeah.
It was kind of late night last night, but we're getting kind of close to where I think we need to get over there.
Yeah, no.
We've got a little bit of work to do. And now that I'm old and they're young, I love waking up young people. Does that answer your question? Philip is, I mean, he's the dude, man. He's great.
Tires, making sure our tires are right. Tire management's a big thing. Making sure it has fuel in the car, making sure that every little thing that plays in with the car running, wiring, air ducts.
That ain't no good, let me tell you that right now. That'll burn up the engine.
You name it, you know, making sure the body panels are screwed down just right. I was in charge of all that, making sure that car is fit and ready to race.
All this does really is help funnel the air that's coming in from the front of the race car into this tube right here, into a fan that blows air on your block, keeping your car from overheating.
It was pretty hectic for the weekend. You're trying to get a lot of racing done in 2 days. And I'm not there by myself, but I feel I always put a big majority of the workload on me. I mean, being crew chief, I just do that automatically, and I feel like if I don't do it, and it's not going to get done, so I go ahead and do it. But it was hot. Wish we had a little bit of AC. We had fans. So it wasn't too bad, but it was pretty hectic. Well, being able to work in the Xfinity garage was really cool. You know, all those great Xfinity drivers and all the drivers throughout however long those garages been there, and being able to stand where they stood and just work on cars. It kind of makes you feel, I don't know, like you've accomplished something in your life to being able to race at Daytona.
Make sure you go wide of that first one, nice apex, nice and smooth, come down here. I'm gonna just stay behind you. We're gonna come on the track and I'll push you down the back stretch. I'll wait till I'm not gonna I'm not gonna push you until we get on the straightaway. After you push it through, and then you go through the bus stop.
We were really getting to do a lot of bump drafting, and it was right through the bus stops we would connect up and, you know, build that speed up through 3 and 4. It's almost like that tandem racing you saw back years ago in NASCAR, and we would build up that speed through 3 and 4, and we're just killing it down to the start-finish line.
drafting is pretty cool. Well, if you'd had a speaker in my car, you'd have heard me laughing when I'm pushing that rookie down the straightaway. Man, was that so much fun. I got such a kick out of that. It's not so intimidating as you might think. You know, you're all both going to, you know, the same direction, pretty much the same speed. Aerodynamics doesn't play a tremendous part, and you just got to be careful and cautious. Get up behind him. I was fortunate because my car was a little bit faster than his, so I was able to actually pick up his speed a little bit. But it's not terrible. You got to be careful when it comes time to back out. Let him do an entry into the corner. You don't want to shove him into the corner so hard he loses it. But man, it was, you know, it's not terrible, and it's a ton of fun.
It's been really, really cool to just learn from him and apply that to our racing. Green, 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 green.
You know, I think he did really well. He has the right temperament and the right personality. He listens. He doesn't go over the top. He pays attention. He's conservative to a point, but he's not. He's going as fast as he feels comfortable, and he continues to improve. He's not driving over his head. He's not running into stuff. He's not bouncing off the wall, and he's learning every time he gets behind the wheel. So that's a good thing. We just hope that he can learn fast enough, and he's getting a lot of races, and in every race he'll get a little bit better.
We're just stoked to be here and to cross the start-finish line and see those stands and see the infield. See the flag stand. I mean, it's just I don't know, man. It's a feeling that I never really felt that before.
Seeing him on them banks and him sideways looking like he's about to fall off the car was just amazing. Like, man, he actually fulfilled his dream of being able to race down there, which was pretty awesome. Besides
Being in law enforcement and racing, the two, doing what I always, you know, this is a dream to do both. And so having an opportunity to come out here on my time off and do this and enjoy it with Daryl, enjoy it with you guys, enjoy it with my family has been wonderful.
Racing encompasses several different emotions and challenges. Of course, the talent of driving, the ability to drive to excel. Also having the car working properly, make sure everything's working right. So all of those things attribute to a successful race, but also the adventure, how much fun you have, how many memories you make, and be able to look back on these deals. And then that Daytona, from the trip down to the great place we stayed, the great places we had dinner, the chance that we got to hang out, and on top of that, we raced well and had a lot of fun. So the memories are as important as the success or failure. Everybody, including myself, will remember that weekend the rest of our lives. I mean, that was a memory that we all formed, and I'm happy to say that I was like the one behind making this memory for everybody.
I wouldn't trade it for nothing. It was fun, and it was a once-a-lifetime experience, and we get to do it again, we get to, and that would be awesome, but if not, oh well, you know. I went down there and raced at Daytona, I can say that.
This has been such a cool experience. If anything, unfortunately, this has bit me worse. It's just made it more of a, want to be back, want to continue pressing hard and do everything we can to take it to the next level. So.